Welcome to Deep Dive Film School. I'm Adam Sherlock.
And I'm Adam Pulcher.
And if you like what you see/hear, please like and subscribe. You can find us in all the spaces and places that people what?
Find good media. That's right. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. You can also follow me at Adam Pulcher on Letterboxd. Would love to have you join me there. All right, let's get into this. We are starting a new festival.
Yeah.
Spooky season specific somewhat. We have a chamber piece festival. We're going to do movies where they take place in one location.
Mostly one location.
Location. But we're excited to get into this festival. Excited about this movie, 1990s Misery, written by Stephen King and William Goldman, and completely forgot this, directed by Rob Reiner.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is during Rob Reiner's streak. He had this streak through the mid-'80s into the 90s. And then it ended when he directed the movie North. And then he really didn't do a whole lot after that. But this is in the thick of, like, you know, and again, another Stephen King one. You got Stand By Me, right?
Yeah, he did that as well. But also did Spinal Tap and Princess Bride and all sorts of things.
All sorts of things.
And so he is kind of a genre-bending director, like for that generation at least. More so than a lot of directors were allowed to do, unless you were like some prestige, like Kubrick or something, who could do like something different here. And this is kind of his
think of him
Hitchcockian movie, right?
Yeah, totally.
You could definitely see some Hitchcock influence. It's shot very well, but it definitely, he likes the low angles, and he's definitely ribbing from Hitchcock here. Now, I don't know if you know this, but like I've seen this movie, but it's been so long since I've seen it. I was 12 when this came out, so it wasn't really like on my radar.
Yeah,
and let alone what my parents would let me see at that age. Right. And so, so this was like I always knew it, and I always knew like the major parts and the ankles and all of that. Like it's hard to avoid. But this is like watching it new for me almost.
Really?
Watching it this time. So I haven't watched it in a very, very long time. It was really fun. It totally stands the test of time.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, to me, I think it's kind of a perfect film. Like, there's not really much that I would ask to add or take away from it.
I have a few nitpicky things, but they're so nitpicky that it's just kind of like, it is what it is. But honestly, like, I couldn't even like pause to get a snack or something. Like, I was just wrapped up in it like immediately. Although, like, What the fuck are you driving a Mustang on this mountain for? Come on, dude.
I know.
There's my first nitpick.
He's superstitious.
He's cool.
I think he's superstitious, right? He's driving the same car as he did for the very first book that he did. And like, he's got to keep it in that one like leather satchel and all those little like kind of superstitious things. I've watched this movie.
Yeah, I know you.
I don't even know how many times. I mean, one of Abby's classic lines is, "I'm so excited. I'm going to go put on my Liberace records." Like, that's a regular thing that gets said around this house. So, and obviously read the book many times also. And there's
which is a slight difference, right?
There's a handful of small differences. But again, I think one of the things I found most interesting is the book is also obviously a chamber piece. And so we are in Paul Sheldon's head in the book. We are getting his thoughts. We are getting his internal monologue, and we're getting his minutia of little things like stashing away the pills, like these little things.
Like, wasn't he more of a drug addict in the book, right? Like, at least a recovering, like he had more of a history. They don't really touch on that.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily that, but he definitely, there's this really amazing way they describe, that King describes pain, which is interesting because when he wrote this, King had never had any experience like this. And then later in life, he, was in a car accident. He was hit by a car and almost died, and became very, very well versed in living with chronic pain. But the way he describes it is like high tide and low tide, and there being pillars in the water. And that when you're stoned, the pain's still there. The pillars are there, but you can just barely see them because the water's covering them. And that then when the drugs start to wear off, it's low tide and the pillars are there and they're really shrieking with pain. And I think that to not have any kind of a monologue voiceover or anything like that, and just see James Caan doing this acting, he does such an incredible job really portraying, because this could be a really thankless role, right? To be the guy in the bed, because it's like, how many different layers of confusion and terror
For sure.
can you show before you seem like a one note kind of a person,
and
right?
he's also the kind of actor who likes to like move around and be himself, right?
And play badasses.
Yeah,
he
and
likes to play gangsters. He
he's
likes to play
vulnerable
cops.
here.
He's super vulnerable,
and for in multiple ways.
Yep.
I mean, every time he moves his legs, I have fake pain that I'm like, oh god, like makes me shudder.
Yeah.
His fucking legs too. Like we'll get to
Yeah.
that, but like this whole opening scene, right from the shot with a cigarette, the first shot to the end of the opening credits where we really see the crash and everything. But what a marvelous opening scene. Like it covers
incredible.
so much.
Yeah.
And we have this great R&B song playing while he's driving down, and you're just like, the whole time I'm just like, dude, what are you driving this why are you driving in this storm?
Yeah.
Let alone in this stupid ass car.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think that
so well done.
And I think one of the things that's interesting about that, and that's interesting about the level of almost carelessness, is that, we then find out that he's Paul Sheldon, a successful enough author of this sort of bodice ripping, Harlequin romance novel books that even like the guy at the feed store knows who he is, right? And so you go, when you live in that insulary of a lifestyle, do you think that you're untouchable? Do you think that you're unbreakable? Do you think that you can just go cruising down the road during, directly
Local
into
celeb.
a storm? Yeah, well, international celeb though, right? I mean, we then cut to
that town is proud that he lives there or writes his books there.
100%.
Like, everyone knows that.
And I mean, obviously, if I had
I'm your number one fan.
if I had $1 for every protagonist in a Stephen King story that was a writer,
That's a good point.
I'd be pretty rich. But you write what you know, and so him writing from the perspective of this guy that does go off into his little cabin and writes his stories.
It makes sense.
And has number one fans. I mean, I remember when this came out, and there was a lot of conversation around like, so do you hate your fans? Are you scared of your fans?
Ones like this, yes.
Well, and I think just also the idea of like,
It's probably his worst nightmare.
well, not just that. I think there's that for sure. I think
To be fair, it would be my worst nightmare.
mine too. But I think the other part of it too is that you can write something, and it's yours, and if you give it to the world, it's theirs.
It's theirs now.
You don't own it anymore, right? And so I think also the idea of, I got famous writing this character that like I hate this shit.
Yeah.
And like Lauren Bacall plays his agent, and she's like, Misery Chastain put your kid through elementary school, and Misery Chastain put your kid through college, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and he's like, I know, but like, I want to write something real. I was a street kid. Like, I want to write something authentic, and that's the thing. Like, yes, him crashing and him getting saved by his quote unquote number one fan is terrible.
Who was following him anyways.
And let's be fair, it's never really revealed, but she probably caused the accident somehow, right?
Yeah, there's always that question to some degree. We never get that confirmed, but I don't think anyone would be surprised if she cut his brakes or something.
Did something crazy. I mean, how else did she end up living in that house, in that farm, right next to where he always writes his books? Like, that's not a coincidence, right? And so it's like, but I think that the thing that is the really deep irony here is the way that King wrote it. The most fatal mistake that Paul Sheldon made was killing the character of Misery. If he hadn't done that, yeah, maybe he would still be trapped, but I don't think that he would have been in quite as much danger as he was until she found out that her hero, this fictional character that he invented, was killed by him. And he's like, I didn't kill her. She died. Real. Like, she's not real. And she
floated away or whatever he says.
Yep.
We right away, you don't really see her. You just see her pulling him out, and you get her waking up saying, I'm your number one fan.
I'm your number one fan. Yeah.
And so we get stuck, and she makes up the storm, once that storm passed, she's always got excuses.
Yep,
the
phone lines are down,
roads are down.
Yep.
So You're in here for the long haul. You've been here at least 2 days, and who knows how long you'd actually been there.
And we just keep seeing her popping pills into his mouth over and over again.
Who knows what's in those pills? Some kind of codeine pain meds, or just keeping him drugged up. Which is why I thought in the book he had more of a drug history.
I don't think that's right.
I could be wrong.
I not to my memory.
But she also reveals his legs. This one I was like, his fucking legs,
dude. They look like hamburger meat.
Oh, they're awful. And I'm like, did she do that? Is she qualified to do that?
Yeah.
Like, obviously she's some kind of nurse or something.
Right.
And then we do find out later, yes, obviously big time nurse.
Yeah. She's got a lot of work under her belt.
Yeah. So, but just what a classic villain.
Yep.
Like Kathy Bates, can you do no wrong?
I mean,
like,
God.
She's so good. She's always good. And you could tell she's a theater kid because she just has that, I don't know. She gets into every role. She's very method. She's one of our great actresses.
I'm wondering though, like pre-Misery, like I remember. So what I remember from most specifically is probably Come Back to the Five and Dime Jimmy Dean. I remember her from, I think it's like you said, Dick Tracy. And then I think I also saw her at Play in the Fields of the Lord, which was right around the same time. But she's just a regular person in all of those, right? She's just a regular character. And to be like, no, she's going to be both the strangest character that you've ever seen, the most tragic, and the most terrifying.
Yes,
and sometimes
all
on a roller coaster of like 10 seconds to 10 seconds to 10 seconds. And like sometimes the stuff she says is hilarious.
No one ever likes me because of my mood swings.
Oh my God.
Or
she's like, I don't think I should be around you for a while, Paul. And then just like wanders out of the room and you're like, that's the scariest thing I've ever heard in my
you're
life.
right. If he didn't kill Misery, this movie would have been different. But she takes it so personally.
Yeah.
Like, that is me. I identify with that character, to your point earlier, and you killed her.
Yeah, look what you did.
I'm going to put you, I already have control over you, and now you're never leaving.
Right. And it's like in the beginning, it's like before she reads the latest Misery book and he's killed her, like, she doesn't have much of a plan. Like, she definitely, like, she reads, she knows that she's got him now. But I don't think that it isn't until much later that she creates this like suicide pact idea. I think early on here, she's just like, she's being a number one fan. She's like, I mean, she does not have good intentions, but I don't think she has that all worked out yet.
She doesn't like his swearing.
She doesn't like his current book at all.
And the swearing. But yeah, the current book, he's like, no, you got to rewrite this.
Yeah. Well, and then it was like once she gets the new Misery book and finds out he's killed her, the penance is for him to burn his current book.
Yeah.
And like the level of like, it's not like part of what makes this work so well, part of what makes this character of Annie Wilkes work so well is that she is a true believer. She's a zealot. And she's like, this is how you're going to free yourself. And then she's like, I know best. I know better than you.
God told me.
Yeah, I know what you need better than what you know. And then the thing to do is the most humiliating, invasive, just mean-spirited, awful thing is like, I want you to burn your book. And I can't do it. I mean, you have to burn your book.
Are we surprised that Zella is doing that? I mean, it's very relevant today.
It is.
And it's, the things that people will do in the name of God is ridiculous.
Right.
And inhumane a lot of times.
Yeah.
And just, to your point.
It's so interesting too, because it's like that has to be, it's like if it's like somebody saying, well, I want to hurt you because I want you to feel hurt. Is all right. That's one kind of pain. That's one kind of fear. That's one kind of evil. But you'll thank me is like the most evil of evil.
Don't worry, God told me.
Right? Yeah,
God told me to do it.
God told me to do it. You'll thank me. But you were sent here so I can set you free. Right? Because misery is the best thing you've ever written, whether you believe so or not. Right? And what's interesting also though is that like. And this is less so, again, I know I keep coming back to the book, but I think the comparisons are apt in places. I think we see it a little bit here, but in the book, when she makes him then write a new Misery book, like when she goes, and it's probably one of Kathy Bates' best moments is he didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car, right? Like I was like, they cheated. In last week's film, he didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car, and the camera's just pushing into her face. What's interesting is that's word for word what's in the book, and that in that moment, Paul Sheldon actually kind of has respect for her because he's like, yeah, I did fucking phone it in. Because I was never going to publish this book. This is just so you don't kill me, right? And he's like, "Yeah, she's right. That was a cheap, yeah, that was a cheap shot. Like I'll redo it, right?" And so
the fact he'd go to those lengths to do that too.
Yeah.
All right, I have to say, Buster and Virginia are the most adorable detective duo in the history of film. Am I wrong? Oh my God, I love them both.
When you're in this car, you're not my wife. You're my deputy. Richard Farnsworth is
straight story.
Oh my God. Or what I always go to is the old man in the Anne of Green Gables TV show. He's like the old guy. Oh, it hurts my heart. I love him so much. He's such a sweetheart.
Not only is he just sweet and fun to watch, he's a pretty good detective.
He's a good detective.
And, it's just the two of them.
Yep.
And he's funny. It's what
phone rang. It must have been a busy day, busy morning.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's what the movie needed to release us from the tension. I mean, it's the only non-chamber piece really. Part of this is knowing them investigating his disappearance, right? And Annie even drives by the scene.
Yep.
And they haven't, but it still takes them weeks. He's literally like on top of the car.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Yeah.
And it takes him weeks later in a helicopter to actually find it.
Yep.
And so I'm assuming weeks. I don't know. He's there. He's written how many books? Who knows how long he's actually been gone?
Totally. I mean, at some point it's raining instead of snowing, so months have gone by.
Yeah.
His legs have healed before. Well, we'll get to it. But
yeah. I think we know it's coming. But,
and you're totally right. I love the reprise headed back over to them, and also we need those other characters to know that there are other people that are looking for him, and also we need those other characters because there needs to be a moment that accelerates our third act, because without the moment, and we'll get to it.
Good point.
Annie is as much a tragic figure as she is a malevolent figure. And so while she does pose danger, we need her to do something overtly evil in order to be like, yeah, man, fuck that bitch. You got to kill her. Right. Without that, it still is like, oh, Paul needs to get away, but we don't want the vengeance that we do unless this overt act of evil takes place.
You just want him to just get out. It's not even her comeuppance necessarily until a certain point, of course. But like him just trying to get around. I don't think we can understate it enough. Him just getting around with these legs, and who knows what she's feeding him and doing to his body and whatever. Although I'm sure it's painful, and maybe some of it is to do that, of course. But I seriously, like, as someone who's hurt themselves before or whatever, like
ripped the shit out of your arm last year.
And so, but like. That stuff always kind of makes me cringe anyways.
When he falls out of that bed that first time.
It. Like, that scene especially, you're just like, I feel it. And like, I get this like fake pain or whatever you want to, like ghost pain.
Totally.
Like through them,
His acting in that is so good. It's so just the sweat and the pale and then also, I mean, and again, in the book, the minutia of detail of all these little things of like trying to turn sideways so that you can get the door open, that you can move through.
Or slamming the book on his legs.
Yeah. All of this stuff, like we're seeing it. And I will say, one of the first things I really thought of, because again, it's one of these things you've seen a movie 100 times. You have it on in the background. You know all the beats. But to really be like, okay, we're going to sit down and talk about this. And so watching it again, I was really struck with the direction this time because this movie, like playing the first 20 minutes of this movie, I might start doing that in some of my film classes, because this is like film school 101 stuff where it's like,
in what way?
I think you go, okay, the Paul POV, Annie is the malevolent ogre. We're looking up, right? The Annie POV, Paul is the mouse, like he's laying in bed, right? Like those are so classic, and we
Sure,
see
yeah,
him
of course.
every single time. The beautiful depth of field in these wide shots of just the rooms, and you get a real sense of like, okay, that's where the door is, and that's where the table is, and this is where the bed is, and she's standing and she's powerful and he's laying down. It's like, and then when we see her bedroom, and like just like the depth of field in all these shots is so gorgeous. And then the close-ups, my god, the close-ups, because we need to see the match, because we need to see when he's squirreling away the pills. Like those are intense close-ups, the likes of which you almost never see in a movie to this degree.
The hairpin.
God, the tension of the hairpin is
that whole scene
brilliant.
is very Hitchcockian, and I love it. And my favorite line, maybe of the movie, is, "You've written about this, now do it."
Yeah, totally. And then when he gets it, he's like, God, I can't believe that worked. But you know,
it had to work.
The penguin. And us noticing the penguins the wrong way.
Of
like,
course.
what a
you
beautiful
knew that was
little...
going to be a tip off to her at some point.
And so like all of those intense, like there's just, you could seriously pause probably every 10 seconds and point out a new shot and ask your class, what are we supposed to feel here?
Yeah.
Because he does such a fantastic job. Just the way the hallways feel so narrow with that stupid wheelchair in it. Right, and their camera is so
and
low.
The phone has no bottom to it.
Oh my god,
just stuff like that.
Yeah,
and another thing, if I was Paul, I would have been, where the fuck's this wheelchair been? I've been sitting in this bed. Like,
yeah, totally.
Let's go.
Well, and you're like, who knows? You know, when did she did she go into town to buy that?
Second nitpick. Yeah, maybe.
Of the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I would
again, these are nitpicks.
I would counter by saying, who's the last person that she had in that bed and used that IV on and used that wheelchair
completely. Or like, where's his questions? Like, have you talked to anyone? Have you like, what's, like you're going to the
I mean,
store?
he does ask, he's like, so the phones are open.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, in town they were.
Yeah.
And so I talked to your publicist.
But it's like, I would be asking that every day. But at a point, he knows what's going on, obviously.
And that's an interesting growth, too, is the difference between being... Because even in the very beginning, he's grateful, but right out of the gates is like a little weirded out. Because she's like, well, I was kind of following you. It's like, she says that to him in the very first conversation. And he's like, you were following me?
I told you I'm your number one fan.
Yeah, and so it's like, even from there's a little bit of suspicion, and then it just grows and grows and grows into full-blown terror after a while. I always wonder, like, why hasn't anybody tried to do, like, a remake of this in a slightly different way, where instead of making it as Misery, it's like you could have it be Taylor Swift with, like, one of her fans, right? Like, you're just like I was thinking about that the whole time I was watching this, of just like, when we cut to this push in where there's a framed signed photo of Paul Sheldon on her mantle,
with all the books,
and not like the hard covers, the soft covers, the alternate covers, and like I was gonna say, I've seen these people with their records, with their Taylor Swift records, and they don't own a record player, on Instagram being like, I got all 9 covers.
Well,
I got all
you're being
different...
a little hypocritical here, because you have a Stephen King shrine upstairs that looks very similar.
It's only one copy of each book. Only one copy of
He's
each
being
book.
Hypocritical. Don't listen to him, Swifties.
They're not watching this. They're not watching two middle-aged men talk about a movie that came out 35 years ago.
Who is? Why are we doing this? One great surprise in this movie for me, JT Walsh. We get JT Walsh moment.
I know.
Finds the car, right?
Blink and you miss it, JT Walsh. I know. I'm like,
but he just presumes he's dead. Oh, we found the car. He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
He would have been dead months ago, days ago, weeks ago.
The odds are pretty high that the animals dragged him off. I'm like, his family's probably watching. His daughter's watching this.
We're gonna have to wait till it melts to find him.
Yeah,
like no way this guy's alive.
Yep.
But anyways, she does make him write this new book. She wants her to be the inspiration for this. Mm-hmm. He tries one time, she hates it.
Yeah.
Nope, do it again. And then he finally gets it. He's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna write the one you want.
Yep.
Just like you described earlier.
Yep.
But like, that's such a manipulative, like just people who think that what they think matters, or like what they, and I say this doing a podcast on YouTube, but like that they're so controlling that only their point of view is what is acceptable, and
Right.
it's just so it's so against art. It's so against basic human curiosity. Like it drives me batty.
I mean, I also think that there's something interesting where
But that's what makes you hate her, right?
oh yeah, well, and King did this again many years later. He wrote a series of books called the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, and the middle book called Finders Keepers was also about a writer. This one very much like more of a J.D. Salinger kind of Catcher in the Rye kind of, was writing at the height of sort of the counterculture movement, and then became a recluse, and had this character in his book called Jimmy Gold that was like, this almost James Dean's type of like, I'll rebel against whatever you got, man, kind of a character. Mm-hmm. And then the third book in the series, the Jimmy Gold character sells out, and it takes place in the 80s, and it's sort of a Bonfire of the Vanities kind of a thing. He ends up like becoming an ad agent. This guy who broke out of prison finds the reclusive author and kills him because he's so mad at what he did to Jimmy Gold. So King has always loved this idea of like, again, whose intellectual property is it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think with him being a fan of, you look at something like To Kill a Mockingbird, people love the character of Atticus Finch, right? He was this like very like stand up for what's right and noble character. Mm-hmm. Well, Harper Lee had a shelved book called To Set a Watchman that she never released, that got released after she had died, in which in that book, Scout is much older and goes back to visit Atticus Finch, who's now like an old man, and he's a horrible racist, right? And like all these people are like, no, but we love that character. And the person who wrote it had written another version of that character. And so I think he's always been interested in sort of like, you don't own anything, right? If you've given it to the public. And so what's worse than to have to rewrite and bring back to life a character you intentionally killed? Like, and it's what makes the term that both the name of the character, the name of the film, the name of his books, misery. Mm-hmm. Fucking brilliant, right? Just a brilliant, like just a stroke of brilliance to be like, in the book, he is in misery. Like he is having to write.
The movie's misery.
The movie is like, miserable.
It has so many meanings.
Right?
Here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's something I love about that though. And again, it feels so much more personal than some of the physical, even the physical pain he goes through is horrible, but this feels worse in a way.
For sure. I mean, another brilliant move is him writing her out of the coma. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's what finally gets her to get going and happy about it. And he's up to chapter like 35 at a point.
And I think, and this is less shown in the book or in the movie than in the book, but he starts to kind of not enjoy himself, but he's a writer. So he gets back into writing. Sure. Right. Yep. And so, yeah, he probably could have written, he could have gotten his whole plan out and done like a novella, but
sure.
He's a writer, so he made a big old
and whatever book he's
book.
real book that he's going to write after this whole situation should be very interesting. But he does keep writing. He finally finishes, and he wants to celebrate. And he's been hiding those pills. Right?
I love his resourcefulness. Yeah. His resourcefulness is such a like
you have to love be at a certain point.
You
right?
love a smart protagonist, right? Like that's what you want more than anything. So he's been squirreling away the pills. He stole a piece of the notebook paper and made a little pouch out of it, and so now they're going to have
the
dinner.
Pills.
Yeah,
and he kind of nices her into dinner. He's so fake nice at this dinner. It's so funny.
Yeah,
because he's gets her out of the table. Let's get some wine. Let's get some candles.
Yeah,
like basically saying like, why would I leave?
Yeah, I love being here.
Yeah, and she's a little too smart for that, and spills her wine on purpose. At least you think
either that or his luck is just awful.
You're like, this is
also
no, give it to me.
And you can see he's like almost crying, and he's just like, "That's fine, God damn it, let's have dinner. This
I love
is
you
great.
forever."
Yeah, what makes the meatloaf good is I had a little bit of Spam for some spice.
That's right.
Yeah,
yum.
I also one thing I forgot to mention when he does get out, and we get to see what the house is like outside of there. Mm-hmm. the amount of photos and even a fridge magnet of Liberace is the funniest. Like, once you start to notice it, they're fucking everywhere. There's framed pictures as if he's a family member of Liberace all over the house.
So funny.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, that tracks. Like,
she never got to find out the truth.
no, she never did. She died before she could have been. That's as bad as Misery dying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it could have been. The rain gives her the blues,
Ooh, that part is so scary.
Yeah, it is.
I think I'm going to go put some bullets in this gun and then just leave.
And he's got a gun. Did we miss an Aerosmith needle drop?
Is that another one of your minor quibbles? Look, I'm just saying.
Could have had an Aerosmith. They were very popular at the time. No. But him going around the house, one of my favorite things. What we find. I think it might be the second time when he realizes that the wheelchair won't fit through, and he tries to get to that door. First off, I'm like, "What are you doing, man? You got no time here.
Yeah, get out of there! Get out of there!" Yeah, I know.
And so this constant tension with this movie is just so wonderful.
Yeah,
and they do cut away to Richard Farnsworth like reading the book and investigating this or whatever, which is great or whatever. Yeah. But he finds this scrapbook of all she has kept of all of her past things.
Yeah, it just gave me chills.
Yeah,
it's so scary.
She's featured and she's been in prison.
Yeah.
And she's done all this, and so this is my third nitpick and final nitpick. Well, not final. Third nitpick is, why the fuck is no one investigating all of these newspaper articles of this long historied woman that lives in town that has all of these things, killing children?
Because
I know there's no internet,
but
like
pre-internet, man.
Still.
It took Richard Farnsworth. He's the one who found it.
She's not swiping through her phone. Someone published these. Go Dewey Decimal System that shit.
Well, that's just it, though. I mean, if you are talking about, I think that also was a thing back then, is that you could, if you were let out
of nowhere,
you're let out of prison, you get paroled or whatever, and like, yeah, you're still, there's a lot of hay that's made about whatever, but if you go to like a place that doesn't have traffic lights,
sure,
like, it's not Dewey Decimal, it's microfiche, right? Which is the way that he finds it. He finds by going through.
I know he does eventually kind of get there, but I'm like, how do they not know this after months of him being gone? Like,
I love that. Yeah, the fact that she turns out to be one of these, what they refer to in a lot of true crime as being like the angel of death kind of nurses that's taken all
Nurse
these
Ratchet
kind
of thing.
Yeah. It's like there's something about that's really like fascinating, and I think makes it so much scarier because, and again, I love a lot of the foreshadowing in this
so
movie.
Much.
Like the layers of it do such a wonderful job. And she mentions really early on, she's like, I know how to keep my mouth shut way better than I did when I was on trial in Denver. And this is like an hour before we see the scrapbook. And you see him kind of go, but like, he's like, I'm not gonna, like, I've already gotten like my legs slammed against shit. Like, I'm not asking anything. But I love those little peppering in, because then when he does see the scrapbook, and then the fact that after all of that stuff, now the newspaper clippings about him being missing are in the scrapbook, and you're like, oh, the memory lane scrapbook is saved for just some special things, and now I'm one of them.
She's not being honest. I don't know if you could tell.
This is the Ralph Wiggum "I'm in trouble" meme.
Oh no, that's
right.
Good.
I'm in trouble.
So good. But he essentially, let's get to the scene that is kind of talked about through all of this. But he wakes up to an injection in his arm, and he has no, he's trapped again.
Yep.
Basically.
And when he wakes up the second time, he's got belts.
But she calls him out for leaving the room, acknowledges the scrapbook.
The penguin always faces north.
The knife.
Yep.
All of that stuff.
Yeah, when he wakes up and she's holding the knife. It's the classic shot, but you're like, ah.
But, God, I love you. Like that whole line, all of it. It's so brutal and fucked up.
She hobbles him.
Oh, she hobbles him. big time. It's a scene I have to, even
Oh,
though
yeah.
this is my fourth nitpick, not the scene itself, wonderfully brutal, and the God I Love You delivery, holy shit. Like, she says it like the most honest thing she's said through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Right? That's the one thing you believe.
She almost sounds turned on, which is really scary.
God, I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the first thing you believe that is coming
Yep.
out of her mouth.
Yeah.
But his fucking ankle is broken off. He's broken in half. But the rest of the movie, he's not even bandaged down there. I'm like, did you shoot this before his ankles were broken? Like if you look, his pants are like he's wearing sweatpants, and I'm like, your ankles are broken. How are you getting around so well? That was
After this?
yes.
Okay.
The whole time he's writing,
After he's been hobbled. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that.
Anyways, but that's it. That's my last nitpick. But
and I have to mention this, and this is the last time I'll come
Dragon
back to,
Lady.
This is the last time I'll come back to the book. In the book, she amputates one of his feet.
I mean, that's essentially what she does with that sledgehammer.
But she cuts it with, I believe it's an axe, and then she has like an acetylene blowtorch and like. But the part that I always remember is she still says, "God, I love you," and she's standing in the doorway holding his foot, and a couple of his toes are still kind of moving. Mm-hmm. And the part that always gets me, it made like reading the first time. I remember as like a 12-year-old being like, "Whoa," is that he looks at his foot that she's holding, and he sees the scar on his heel that he got when he stepped on a piece of glass when he was at the beach as a little boy, and that his dad told him to stop screaming because it wasn't like somebody cut his foot off.
All right.
Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, big time.
Oh, Mr. King, I love you.
Yeah,
Big fan.
He's a good one. And then we get to Buster putting it together, coming out and talking to Annie.
She used a quote when she went to prison. There is a judge greater than the judge of law, and I will answer to him one day, or something, paraphrasing, that came directly from something that Misery said. And that's when he's like, and then he starts to investigate. Turns out she bought an old typewriter. She bought all this paper.
Not the right paper, though.
Not the right paper.
You got to go back.
I like that he wrote the word smudge and then smudged the word smudge. It's so great.
That's a Rob Reiner move right there.
It very much so. Very much so.
He needs his cigarette and his Dom Perry. What does she call it? Perignon?
Don Perignon.
Yeah,
or something.
She can't say it for some reason. It just kind of shows her kind of backwoodsiness.
Well,
a little
yeah,
bit.
I'm like she has a pet pig, man. I mean, she's
That's
got
right, I
like
forgot
just
about
like
the pig.
all the stuff. It's very. But again, the quirkiness is what makes it like funny.
It's true. Like her luring Richard Farnsworth back into the house, or maybe he does it to. I don't know, but
Yeah.
like, like they get him back in the house and then bang. It is quirky.
He needs to be Farnsworth. Has to be the sacrificial lamb in that, and this is that moment. This is what accelerates us into our third act, is that without it, to kill Annie, I mean, it still ends up being weirdly tragic. I mean, it is good. You're like, yeah, man, get rid of her. But like, there's another part that does feel like weirdly tragic because she is such a strange character. She's not a malevolent, or she is malevolent, but she's not like a mustache twirling like villain, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like
broken.
Jason coming back from the dead or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Although she does pull a Jason.
She does.
But yeah, a shotgun to the back.
But there's not Misery 2 and 3 and 4.
That'd be fucking wild. Be like that, she's still doing them. Like,
we find out that Annie's Wilkes' grandma was on the Titanic.
Good pull. Good pull, the unsinkable Annie Wilkes. But yeah, it really does accelerate into this suicide pact where she's like, I know you'll never leave. Mm-hmm. So, and they're going to catch us. Like we won't leave us alone. And so now we have to do this because now I've killed a cop.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, well, let me finish first. I'm almost done. Yeah. I'm almost done. And then you can read it and then we'll give it to the world. Mm-hmm. And Misery will be alive forever. Right. And you're like, it's pretty good. Again, he's so resourceful. He's very imaginative, and so he's able to convince her.
After that long, I mean, one, you have to be imaginative to be an author, I think,
totally.
in the first place. But also, that much time, and only so much to look at and do. Like she doesn't even let him watch
Love Connection
or whatever.
Well,
you know?
and another resourcefulness I love that we skipped is that big
we're
royal
jumping around a lot.
typewriter that when she's gone, he's doing like push-ups.
That's right.
You know what I mean? He's doing these lifts with it so that he can be strong enough. And it's like, it's a really great, because like that could be a nitpicky thing, right? Like, really, he's been in bed for that long and he could lift up that big typewriter and drop it on top of her. And it's like, we showed that he's been doing these exercises with it, which I think is like, yeah, I think I like that we see those little elements. But so we get to our final night. He's gonna smoke a cigarette. They're gonna have 2 glasses of champagne.
Ooh.
And then they're going to celebrate, and they're going to give misery back to the world, and then apparently they're both going to shoot themselves and kill themselves.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, sounds romantic, very romantic. And instead, he's kept that lighter fluid from when he was in the basement in the back of his pants. He's
got all sorts of shit in his pocket.
Oh,
in his pants.
Oh yeah. But it's also really scary because it's like we also accept the fact that like he's in a pair of sweatpants, like. You know, he has to like make sure that she can't see the pills and can't see the, you know what I mean?
It's like, no, it adds tension.
Yeah, it adds a tons of tension.
Yeah, no, I mean, whaps her with the typewriter, which is wonderful.
I love that. Kind of. Before we get to that, he's holding that last page.
And he makes her burn the book first, right?
Well, and he's holding it, and he's like, everything's in here, right? Who Misery's father was. What happened to the baby? Like all of these like loose ends, just to fucking twist the knife even more, right? That all of this stuff is in there, and you'll never know because I'm gonna burn it. Is like,
yeah, this movie wouldn't happen in the digital age, right? Oh, it's on the cloud. That's fine. You can burn it. It's good.
You can burn that version. I don't give a shit.
Anyways, yeah, her comeuppance getting killed by a typewriter and a ream of paper is a little too it's so ironic and,
it's pretty
perfect.
It's pretty great. Yeah, when he's shoving a handful of burning paper into her mouth,
so good.
It's pretty wild. It's a really brutal sequence.
All the violence here is brutal.
Yeah, and again, like Rob Reiner's never really done anything like this.
I love that he's stepping into the horror realm. You know, he already had that relationship with King. But yeah, I like him getting out of his comfort zone. This is a very well directed movie. You know, just like, yeah, he was on a run. Last thing I'll say, of course, you know, they get back to New York and the nonfiction version of what happened, you know, and he still sees her sometimes or whatever at the end. But then someone comes up and says, I'm your #1 fan. I'm like, did you not read the fucking book and what I just went through? That is the last thing I want to hear. Come on.
Fans, I mean, that's exactly it, man. They don't care. Like and you're gonna keep hearing that forever.
What kind of person would say that to him after that?
To be fair, he did not write the book. They're talking about him writing the book of what happened to him.
But somebody picked up a newspaper and found out what happened to Paul.
I agree. I see your nitpicks, and I still don't care. Almost
That's
perfect.
Fine.
Almost perfect.
It really is almost perfect. It's a wonderful movie. I really do love it. I had so much fun revisiting it this time.
Fantastic.
It's just a blast of a movie, and just like you said, close to perfect.
Just like, incredible acting.
These are all just probably compromises for making the movie. Like I really don't care that much about them, but it is just these little, like, as a, you know, pseudo critic, you know, like you pick these things out and see these.
You don't have to be a pseudo critic. You've been doing this for way longer than a lot of people who are professional critics.
Good point. All right.
Did that feel like a dig? It wasn't supposed to be. I'm also talking about myself. We're in my basement.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That was the first movie in our Chamber Piece Festival. Very excited to do this festival. We'll be doing, on top of this, we're doing Rope, Moon, The Lighthouse, and Bug.
I think next up is The Lighthouse.
Let's do that next, absolutely. And then we'll be back next week with That One Scene, probably something spooky, so look out for that. Please like and subscribe. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, or you can follow me at Adam Pulcher at Letterboxd. I'd love to have you there, but thanks for watching.
Bye, you guys.